Hello everyone, welcome to a Iceberg interactive Twitch stream. Today we are continuing our playthrough of Oriental Empires, the one we started last week. So we are playing the Warring States scenario here, and we're just gonna continue on playing. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the chat. This can be about the game, about our company, or just anything related to the stream really. And while I'm playing, I'm gonna explain some of the different concepts of the game. Might try out some different strategies, etc. So that's what we'll be doing today. Alright, so let's have a look. Last week I kicked off this game and Saskia was seated next to me, and we were playing over here, and we started out with two different cities and conquered two additional ones, if I recall correctly, and that went pretty swell. That was pretty good. Right now we're in a more tricky position. We are surrounded here by one of the strongest factions out there, which is the Donghu. And to the south we seem to be relatively safe, at least for now. But to the north is more dangerous, and we have to decide on what to do there. Do we pursue peace? Do we pursue war? Do we try and use and save up some money so we can start upgrading our cities, which are in desperate need of upgrading? So if you guys have any ideas on strategies or things that I could be trying, then by all means let me know. One thing I would like to get going with this particular game is to have some nice little river trade to become really or not just also sea trade, so to become really a naval power, if you will. That will also allow us in time to really get into the heartlands of China right here, using the riverways to move around quickly. So these could be potentially very interesting things to do. Let's have a look. We have some units that are out scouting, or at least one. And we have a sizable force here, but it's mostly militia. They are going to be defensive. This is a army that could hold a fairly good defense, so if they decide to threaten us, we can hold our own, but we cannot really strike back. We have one little outpost here, which I don't think will be very important in this game, but we're just going to keep it for now. This is also an interesting one to potentially capture, should we decide to go to war. Interesting. Alright. King of the North, that's an interesting one. King of the North, so that would lead us into a conflict with the Donghu. Let's have a look at how the stats are at the moment. Victory point wise we're doing pretty good, but when we look at army sizes, we have about half the size, no, just over half the size, 2/3 of the army of the Donghu. The strongest being here the faction of Qi and Wei. So we're gonna try and keep the peace with them, at least for the foreseeable future. So I think for now I'm just gonna try and let my coffers fill up a bit. We spent a lot of money in the previous wars last week, and we're gonna need the money to upgrade a little and see if our garrison is big enough to scare away the Donghu armies. That seems to be the case, at least for a little bit. They might not be happy with us taking the city though. So what happened was, this belonged to another faction that is now extinct, as it Guzu. And Donghu asked us to coordinate an attack, and we said yes. And they were trying to attack the city for a long time. We took Xiadu from them. But then we also moved in to grab the city of Yi itself. So they can't be too happy with us, and they might be looking for war. Now, let's see what happened this turn. We have a new heir, which is very good. Heirs are very important in the game. They make sure that if your leader dies, you don't run as big a risk of a civil war if there is an heir. Your nobles might rise up if your leader dies without an heir, because, you know, they're pretenders to the throne then. So having an heir is important, and I'm happy to have my heir. Here we're just going to continue on farming. Always be farming is a good creed, I think, for the game. It allows you to expand your population base and thereby your tax base, which is a very important thing. Over here we're building, and what are we actually constructing? We are constructing the city upgrade already. That's good. And for this one we are saving up, though Not quite sure it will really be needed. Then the town of Yin is slowly growing. We're just gonna let them do what they want to do. And I think we're just gonna hit and turn. And nothing really interesting happened here. We are saving up a fair bit of money, so that is good. Build the wall. Unfortunately, Ketanak, the wall is cannot be constructed in the game. It is the only walls that can be constructed here are the ones directly surrounding the settlements. Alright, we have news of disease in a faraway, well, not that far away, in a city that is away. I would be interested in Handan. I'm not that interested in Yinyang. Because if we want to go for the trade, that might be just a little far out of the route. Whereas if we... this could be much nicer. This little bit. So we got our settlement upgrade over here, so this town is now a fair bit larger, and it has an extended range of influence, so we can farm further away, thereby continuing to grow the population size, which is something we definitely want to do. So let's continue doing so. And the town of Gu, we need to be saving up. So I want to upgrade... well, that's the thing. I'm not sure, actually, if I want to upgrade it. The city is big enough to be upgraded, population-wise, but it doesn't have that much space to expand to anyway. It's already being... I might just prefer just to grow the cities surrounding it. And focus on them. I think that would be the better course of action. What do you guys think? Now, let's have a look. So we got the settlement upgrade complete. We're saving up a bit of money. Do we have any edicts we need to be setting up? So we can do the central bureaucracy, which is a pretty big one, as it allows a bureaucratic character, which is pretty good. So you can have greatly fight unrest, basically, with him, and manage your cities better. In addition, it reduces the peasant unrest by 10%, and it increases your authority, thereby indirectly reducing your noble unrest. So while your noble unrest will take a hit initially, later on you will definitely counter that effect with that +2 authority rating. So that could be an interesting option to do. In addition, now that's probably the most important one, is that it allows for private land ownership. And private land ownership is an edict that really modernizes your agriculture. And that will allow you to get more out of the farms you have. So for now it would cost 500 a turn. But if we add up private land ownership next to it, we will get back a little bit of that money. The thing is, before I want to run this loss, I probably want to get a little bit more extra money in my coffins, in my treasury. So I'm going to just wait a little bit longer and try and save up for that. But I will maintain a sizable garrison over here. I might send back this archer though to replenish. Oh, I suppose I could just keep them there. What you can see is that these archers are seasoned fighters. They have 2 experience points. And experience points gained in battle improves combat efficiency by 20% and shooting efficiency or effectiveness by 10%. So these are much stronger archers than the untrained ones. So it might be worthwhile to send them back and let them replenish, since we are not that much in danger of being invaded at the moment. In fact, we have, I think, still a fraternal harmony pact with these guys. You guys don't have full screen. Let me fix that for you guys. Thank you for pointing my attention towards that. Let's have a look. Yeah, we still have with Donghu a fraternal harmony pact. That's quite nice. All right, let me try and fix that there. There we go. This should be better for you guys. Let me know if this works for you. Hiding nothing from the spies, of course. It's just a little glitch with our overlay. Alright, so what else should we be doing then, aside from saving some money? We got some loot, our scouts actually, which is pretty nice, but it also means we're in danger of being chased away. We can see that the armies of Wei are taking on the Jin, and they have a sizable force there. but they lack the ability to actually breach the walls. So right now, and they aren't even pillaging, I think. So they might not be at war yet, and there is a fairly strong garrison here, though it's a bit too reliant. You're better off with infantry than with chariots when defending castles. Or cities, excuse me. Thanks, Tyrol. Glad it worked. Alright, so let's see. We're just going to hit on turn, I think, and let the growth continue. Our archer is moving south. We have more scouts just exploring. There are some interesting encounter opportunities here that we could pursue. If we can spare our leader. It's a bit dangerous. I suppose we should be doing it. I suppose we should be sending out... Oh, no, not declare war. Just south of it. There we go. To try and see what these encounter opportunities is about. Cities can grow very large. Yes, that's very true. So these are medium-sized cities. This is a small one. They can grow one size larger than this. So they will occupy a fair chunk of the map eventually. And that's one of the reasons why you don't necessarily want your cities close to each other, as you're seeing right here. This is the unfortunate result of, well, history. But not a most efficient setup. The good news is we already have a road network established, so we get quite some trade. And a farm was finished in Xiadu. That's nice. Always like having farms finished in Xiadu. Build ships to flee Middle Earth for Japan. We can do that. I think, though, the ships that left the, what was it, the Grey Harbor or Grey Port? They went west, no, not east. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm not... My talking knowledge is a bit outdated. So attack Y within 7 turns. We're not going to do that for you guys. If you want to attack Y, you attack Y. We won't be doing it for you. The city middle limit the growth to the other two. That's correct, dumbass. That is very true. It is limiting. It's not what I would have preferred. But we're playing the Warring States scenario here, and this is the way the cities are at this point. So we will just have to make do. In time, it might become a problem. What I suppose we could be doing is get rid of this city, sell it to someone, then take it back and destroy it. I suppose. But I would move my capital first. So I could move my capital to Xiadu, which is, for all intents and purposes, a better capital. And in addition, move my trade over here. Is an option. A risky way is to move the city. Well, that's the thing, right? It's a city with population of 44 now, so I don't see any reason to remove it at this point. Might later on, though, when we really have an authority problem. At the moment, we have 17 authority, so it is not a pressing matter. So we reduced our garrison a little bit here with the leader leaving and the archer, but it's still okay-ish, so I'm not in an immediate threat. Now what I want to do is I want to send out a unit to scout out this area and see if there's anything to gain from us here, because this is definitely a place where we want to expand towards later on. Yeah, we'll make it if we burn down our own capital, we'll make it a false flag operation. Don't worry about it. We'll find a good excuse. We will use it to mobilize the country. Alright, what do we have here? So Zhao wants us to allow trade for at least 50 turns, and they want us to pay 50 for it. Yeah, I suppose. Let's do that. Our income increases by almost that amount, so we're gonna make money of that. Ooh, slight little glitch there. Actually, guys, a patch just went out today for the game, having several fixes, some language fixes, especially Polish has been updated a fair bit. Also, some minor interface fixes. So if you, oh, this is a nice one. If you're interested, please have a look. Check over to the Steam page. You can actually find the Steam page by clicking the banner below. That will take you to the store page where you can see all the information, including on the latest patch. Of course, we have more incoming. It is one of Neutron's, or Bob's, who is the lead developer, desires to work on the battle AI, for example. So you can expect something in the future there, though we cannot make any promises, obviously. Let's see, we're going to upgrade it to a market. That will increase our trade value multiplier by 3. So that should be good. And I think it's time now, because we're now also trading with these guys again, which gives us that little bit of extra income, to do the central bureaucracy. So we're going to issue the edict. There we go. And the next turn, we should be able to do the salt tax, or private land ownership. Private land ownership is very good to increase your food production, whereas the salt tax just increases your income flow directly. So we might need to do that first, since we are making a loss of income at the moment. You just want to make sure you don't stack these things a little too much, because then your unrest, of course, might trigger a rebellion. There we go. We should, of course, continue to send our leader towards the engagement opportunities. I'm manually sending him because just to also explore a bit of the terrain. Over here, since we're in the Warring States area, we can start researching new things. And an interesting one is the brick-faced wells, which increase food production by 5. But perhaps more interesting would be to focus on artillery at this point, since a lot of cities are going to be walled, and perhaps more so than our archers can handle. Now, the negative is that I think we need to grow a little bit first, though, so I'm going to go for the farms nonetheless. And the reason for that is all these things cost a lot of money. Especially your artillery. So I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on economy, while perhaps doing a minor war taking Handan over here to the south, which is very interesting. It's also in a trade hub, so that brings potential for exporting more to other countries. Let's see if we can get an alliance with our friends to the north. They are a fair bit stronger, so we might need to pay them a little. They see no value in this. Agreements, defensive alliance, and we will pay you a little. Not that much, just as a token of our appreciation. There we go. So now we will have an alliance. Did they accept? We have a defensive alliance, yes. See? And that will allow us to divert our troops from here. So I'm going to reduce the size of recruitment. I'm going to set my archers back especially, so we can use them somewhere else. And these archers, they are peasant archers, so they're not that strong, but like I stressed before, they have some experience. So they have 10% more effectiveness for ranged and 20% more for melee. So they are pretty potent, relatively speaking. So Zhao wants a Fraternal Harmony Pact. Zhao is not very close to us. We don't have any issues with them. I'm just going to go ahead and accept. We have a new character, the bureaucrat character, so that's nice. I think I'm going to send him south. We don't need 2 characters in one city after all. And we have an increase in chi for our heir. Or no, is that our heir? That's our heir. Was it for a faction leader? Gu, yeah, for our heir. So we have some farms completed. Ling Zhao included. It's good to have a big, strong Ling Zhao. There we go. And just continue on scouting. And we need to issue the salt tax edict. And that will bring us back in the positive income-wise. Though we should mind our noble unrest, especially. There we go. It costs us another 300 per turn. So will that bring us back? Oh, sorry, that's private land. I should be looking over here. 1 + 1 tax per population. We're gonna issue that. There we go. That is good money right there. So we're back in positive. We are stronger than we were before, giving an additional 2 authority. So we are in a pretty good state now, I dare say. We got an archer here who is fully restored, so I'm gonna form up my force, I guess. We have our recruitment slots here. We have some pretty potent heavy spearmen. They are quite interesting, so we could send them in combination with the archers to try and burn down the walls of the town of Handan, raise a big army, take a city and sue for peace. Make it a lightning fast war for just one city. I think that's going to be our objective of today, so that we can slowly start forming this great coastal region and we can start investing in naval trade. But what's this over here? They are our allies now, so I shouldn't be too concerned, but that is a pretty big force. It's all tribesmen. They're a bit hardier men than are my militia, but they're not quite professional soldiers. They do have some experience though, so they shouldn't be underestimated. We have 2 technologies available, so we're gonna make use of them. New craft. So we want to go into naval trade. So we need to go into shipbuilding. So we're going to take up that. And over here, I suppose it is a strong investment, but the Cannon of Wisdom allows us an increased thought development rate by 15% in addition to the construction of an Imperial University, which has some nice benefits as well. On the other hand, legalism allows us these standard ways and measures. Let's go for the Cannon of Wisdom first. Get that bonus as soon as we can. So guys, what do you think of the plan then? To try and gather an army, take Handan by surprise. Well, we need a lot of archers to break through those walls. And then make peace. Perhaps even puppet them. So does that sound like a good idea? I think it could work. Then again, I'm known for being perhaps a tad too optimistic or too opportunistic, if you will. Do it, says Terrell. Sounds good to me, says Master Ben. Alright, I think we got ourselves a plan, guys. It will take cost us a fair bit of money, so no construction then for the short term. Once we get the city, though, that should really pay itself off. Alright, so we're gonna start with recruitment. First we got our encounter, of course. And this guy allows us to reveal the map of an unknown nation. I'm always happy with that. So over here we just discovered the Xiongyu. Alright, that's nice. We know where you are now. We have no reason to deal with you at the moment. But it's good that we know. And a great plans is also Death Alexander. You guys, you are a warlike bunch. I'm gonna continue scouting. So we're gonna send our leader then to actually lead the troop. Okay, so first thing we need is a bunch of archers to break through the walls. We already have 3, sending in another bunch of 6. Or 7, sorry. So that will make 10 archers. That should be pretty good. Now next, on top of that, we want some guys to actually go in and take the city itself. So once the breaches have been made. And for that, we're going to use our heavy spearmen. And heavy spearmen are pretty good. They have strong shields and they can hold off, you know, they can hold off mounted troops, soldiers. They have good defenses against archers, so also while our archers are breaching the walls and they're being shot at, they should hold up pretty well. And we're gonna send some militia to assist them, as well as a unit of noble chariots for good measure. There we go. So we're gonna gather our forces here, and then together we're gonna march south, take Handan, break our treaty with them, hopefully take it within the first or second turn, and then sue for peace. Try and make it a done deal. So, I think that's gonna be it. We're gonna hit enter. We got our army. We have some stacks without orders. Yeah, I'm gonna set you to sleeping. Send in the nobles. Now, the thing is, I have noble chariots, and chariots are not that great to take walls. So, I'm gonna prefer to send in my professional troops. In addition, professional troops are very good at dealing with unrest after you take a city. So, we're losing a lot of money now. So we need to act relatively quickly. So we're gonna wait one more turn to organize, and then we're gonna move south. We did finish another knowledge tech, and our income is upgrading. Shall we continue farming here? I guess why not? And especially in Lingzhou, we want to continue upgrading. So I'm doing all these farms first, the ones in the ground, the regular farmland, for the main reason being that is quicker to develop than the hills. So they will yield results quicker and are therefore more efficient. Of course, long term, we were gonna have to use them anyway. So there's still this huge army here. I'm not quite happy with that. I'm not quite at ease. I'm wondering if my armies are south, will they start attacking me from the north? And over here, I think what we want to do is increase our get knowledge of acupuncture, because that is very good if you're going to war. 10% of casualties suffered in Victoria battle are healed, and that's something we want. Of course, we're gonna assuming here that all our battles are going to be victorious. Disease outbreak also reduced effects. So when you go on a long campaign, you want to have these tags. You just do. Can you build forts in this game? Asked Monster Ban. No, that is not something you can do actually. Well, you can. So the best equivalent at the moment is to get a city going or a settlement and start walling that off. That's going to be your fort. Yeah, they don't want acupuncture, so they fight better. Was what Katanaga is suggesting. I like that. I like that way of reasoning. I like that. I think that is a pretty accurate. And we're gonna change the battle plan on our archers. So we're gonna set our archers also to harass in case we do encounter enemy, and we're gonna set our leader to defend, trying keeping out of combat. Now we have another encounter opportunity, but the guy actually died and we have to pay some money to attend his funeral. That is not great, but not terrible. I think I'm going to send my guy down back to the city. Now the bad news is it's not for us. There's some sickness, but not for our troops. The chi of our leader further increases, and we encountered a new nation, the Qin. So we might be dealing with them pretty soon. Where are they at then? I wonder. We'll see. We'll see if they want anything from us. We're just going to send our army south, and we need to do it quickly because we are losing a fair bit of money. So we also need to make sure our population keeps growing to make up for that. The good news is, once our construction is complete over here, in just over 2 turns probably, we will get a fair bit more income. So will we have enough archers to really breach the walls? That's going to be the question. I suppose I could send in more, but money is an issue. Ouch, what's this? We are not the only one here, guys. That is interesting. Ooh, no, not declare war. That is interesting indeed. So we're gonna reposition a little, get into position. We're gonna make sure that upon reaching the destination, we are going the right way. There we go. One more? No. And we will start attacking the next, or one turn after the next. And meanwhile, Xiongdu, we want you, of course, to keep on growing. So I think we had all the clear ground, so now we should do the hills, which will take longer. I don't like things that take longer. Can you let them take it, then take it from those guys? We could. The problem is, they are not really equipped for a siege. They have only one unit that could potentially breach the walls, and that's not going to be enough, I think. So I would much prefer to get in, settle in, and then kick the guys out. I want to go to war with the Qi eventually anyway, because these cities, I mean, for us to get our river trade going, that would be gold. That would be really, really good. In addition, they don't have a lot of neighbors. I think this is pretty empty. So it is also a fairly safe area to expand to, relatively speaking. It's a little bit of a peninsula. I like your thinking, Master Ben. I like your thinking. On various occasions, that could very well be your tactic. Stacks without orders. A scout. Continue on scouting. And we can have a unit close to Dubai anyway, ready to march in if they decide to take it. Our finances are improving a little, so that's very good. So I think we are in a relatively good position. But look at us. Our guys are ready to attack. We're going to try and take Handan. It's very much a trading city. We're probably going to destroy some of the trade buildings to keep our own trade center strong. So Zhao is actually asking us to attack someone else, seeing that we have armies close by. I'm sorry, Zhao. That's not why our armies are there. They want us to attack Pai. We're not going to do that either. And more people want to attack Wai. So I think the AI is making plans, you see, to do a unified attack at one of the strongest factions out there. We're not going to join into that. So we encountered Changyu. We knew that where they were already. And the Donghu actually declared war on the Zhao. That's interesting. They saw our armies move, perhaps, and decided they want a little bit of the action. I would not like the idea of them taking Yingyang, because then I would really start feeling enveloped. Interesting. Alright, so we are gonna cast the die here. We're gonna declare war. There we go. That immediately breaks off trade, obviously. We're not gonna trade with anyone we're at war with. I'm gonna send my administrator to the capital. Your allies want to embrace you, accept their friendship. Yes. Why can't we understand that they are only trying to conquer our hearts? If only poetry were true. Alright. I think that's gonna be it. Look at that. Our finances are improving. That's mostly because our population levels are rising. Now, in addition, Lingzhou building must be closed now, right? A little bit longer. And the answer with your friendships, yes. So the war has started here. We're on our own. We're not allied to Qi, so they're not going to join us in combat. Our archers are going to start firing first at the gatehouses, trying to burn them down. There we go, and that should open up some areas of approach, or paths of approach for our infantry. And we have some heavy infantry units. Let me zoom in right here at these guys. We got a little bit of frame drops here as a result of the Twitch stream broadcasting software, but these guys are heavily armored and are pretty tough. So I'm going to speed up a little bit, see if they can force more entries. There we go. And our guys are trying to force their way in. Fighting for the gates that have been burned down. With their big shields against archers that are not that well prepared for this. So if we can create enough areas to go in, we should be able to take the city. And we have not been able to do so at this point. So they just managed to hold us out for this first assault. Dong Hu wants to exchange information about enemies. We're going to agree to that because I like information. And if they're not going to learn stuff from me, they will learn it from someone else. Now the good news is that we destroyed a good number of their walls, and that will give us an edge in the next round. And they have suffered some casualties. Now we have also suffered some casualties, but we kept my stacks. That's not all that bad. That was a pretty decent siege attempt. While we didn't win, we didn't lose either. We have some nice loot, which is pretty good. That compensates a little bit for the lost money that turn. Obviously, it also means that the city's population will be declining. So in the long run, it might not be that good. But for now, that's okay. Where are your rhino ramming units? Yeah, that would be something. Break down the walls with huge as rhinos. We have some rhinos close, so we might as well domesticate them and learn them how to break some gates. But that was pretty successful, even though not completely, but I'm still confident we can take the city, and probably next turn. Since so much damage is already done to the walls, we will be able to start our assault much quicker. So at the end of each round, there we go, we took it. They can repair some breaches, but if you make more breaches than they can repair, then you're actually progressing in the right direction. Alright, so we took the city. Qin wants us to reveal capital locations. I'm okay with that. Jin forces us to do it. Of course, we're not going to oblige. Or at least forcing us. They're not offering anything in return. And now we took the city, and that's pretty good. But we see we're at a significant loss. And one of the reasons is building upkeep. Because in this city, and we're just going to occupy it, I want to keep it, there are some buildings that we might not need here, such as in the Bowier, for which we pay 50 a turn, such as a bazaar, for which we pay a lot, and we don't need it, and we're not going to need the pottery workshop here either, even though we don't pay upkeep for it. Well, I suppose we can leave it for now. It doesn't hurt anything. What we should be having, though, we can see trade. Now we want to get a road network going on as well later on. But first, I want that market to be constructed. That's very close. And then we're going to start our road network south. So all our cities are aligned by road, and that will act as a trade modifier and allow us a decent bit of income before we get our river and sea trade going. Now, Handan is in turmoil. It's still one of our biggest cities, our second biggest city actually. Town of G is trying to farm somewhere where an enemy army is positioned, so we're going to cancel that. Gu still wants to upgrade. We're just going to let it grow the population without doing so. Also, for the fact that we can actually afford it right now. And here we're going to try and expand this particular city. It's called urbanism. Is that what it's called? Alright, so we still have this big army here, and I'm not too keen on that. Do we have relations with them? Yes. We have a do not attack each other. And the good thing about that is that it won't be looting our farms. So now what I want to do is make peace with these guys. I have no interest in their other cities. So we're going to talk to Zhao, who are much weaker, who just lost a city and part of their army. Well, we lost pretty much nothing. And I'm going to propose them a peace agreement. And they're going to be taking it. But let's see if we can ask them to become our vassal in return. Let's add a little bit of money to try and convince them. They are not too keen on money, it seems. Let's try. So they will accept if we give back the city. We're obviously not going to do that, or any other city. So we're not going to do it. We're just going to go for peace treaty then. Perhaps they can pay for it if they have so much money. Perhaps a long-term payment. For the next 25 turns, you are going to pay us 200. And they cannot offer this. They offer information about enemies. Okay, that will be enough then. I'm not a tough negotiator today. It's an okay deal. I'd like to have this city to myself. Or the city of Lingzhou for that matter, which I think there was the one they were actually asking for. If they had asked for Gu, that would have been more interesting perhaps, because that would have allowed us to take the city back then and burn it down. As we are secretly conspiring to do. Secretly, obviously. So we're going to leave our troops here. I can actually disband some of my higher paying paid troops. So that will free up some money as well. Is it possible to play with friends by everyone submitting 1 turn per day? So you need to be online at the same time to play. It doesn't have like an asynchronous multiplayer option. But multiplayer is pretty fast because of the simultaneous nature of the game. So each of them is planning at the same time. So you're not waiting for 20 friends to do their turns consecutively. It's all done simultaneously. So every round, you can set a timer. You can make every round last 4 minutes, for example. And you're sure that it won't last longer than that. And might be shorter if everyone hits end turn before that. So that's pretty quick. Exactly, that's why I'm revealing my capital location to others. I invite them to take it. Look at the garrison I have here. There's nothing. There is one leader, but he's not even a family member. He's not even the heir or the leader itself. He is just an administrator. By all means, guys, take this city. Alright, having done that, we're going to hit end turn. I think that was pretty successful. So we can chase these guys out of our city. That would be nice. And now I want to save up a little bit more again. And then get ready to attack. So Fraternal Harmony Pact with Qin. That's all fine and dandy. No reason to say no to that. Jin also wants it. I have nothing for or against Jin. If we make you happy, Jin, so be it. We have a disease outbreak at Gu. So our leader is actually diseased, but that's okay. Oh, he died, but we got a new one. News of sickness to an army of the Donghu, which was on its way to Yingyang. So it's quite good. And you see here what it does, actually. So you lose some troops. Not that many, but still. But you also lose readiness. So it also takes longer to actually get ready for the fight. And our market has been completed. Now that should pay for itself at some point. Still, our income is not that high. How is that? Was I perhaps a little too early in constructing the market? Let's have a look at our finances. So if we look at trade income, it's 165 at the moment. If we look at last term, it was 15, so it has increased significantly. However, taxes have decreased a fair bit. Money from agriculture has decreased a little. And expenses have increased. And I assume, will that be the building upkeep? That will be the building upkeep. So market is also a little bit more expensive. Now I want to save up for this one, this ceramics factory, because that will really allow us to make more money, as will the silk weaver. So we are still in a good position to go trading. First, however, let's get the road network going. So we want to go south. Suppose we can just go through here. Like this. And then we cannot do anything yet. We will start building pretty soon. The army was moving away, but somehow found the excuse to stay with us a little bit longer. Not sure what to think of that. A stack without orders. Who are the troops at Lindsay? They're obviously not happy with our troops here. It's just spying and scouting, but you know, that's what you're gonna do. There is cold outbreak. Burn it, Surlies. Stack without orders, that's alright. That's the stack we want to be without orders. We want these guys to leave our borders, across the river, there they go. And Yin Yang is being attacked. They should have accepted our vassalage. Walls are not taken. Chin wants us to attack Vai, we're not gonna do that. More people want to attack Vai Yue. They actually have a nice little ship on their icon, which I quite like. Their farms are burning though, and they have a limited availability of troops there. So we encountered a new power over here. They've taken a city with a fairly potent force, I must say. Look at these experience. These guys are tough. I don't want war with them. And our city is slowly regenerating. The proud city of Hainan. And we're gonna build north. Actually, build north a little bit further. Just there we go. Place the burden more on this city, so the town of Lingzhou can develop more other things quicker. Why would we attack Wai? I'm a little bit disappointed in you, Katanak. If I'm going to be completely honest, I am a little bit disappointed. So guys, what should we be doing now? Are we ready to fight the Qi? Or Qi? I am not too sure about our economy at the moment. I want to develop better trade situation. I'm gonna retreat most of my army, send these guys in to garrison. UA wants a Fraternal Harmony Pact. I'm gonna agree to that. There we go. And I think we're doing pretty well, guys. We have a large army here. I might be. They're all a little bit experienced, so I don't want to remove them. And our income's pretty good, so I can afford to keep them. I think I can afford to keep them. We're gonna continue growing. North is the way to go. It will make a statement to the world. Surtur isn't afraid of embrace. I will fight them at some point. Especially if they take Yin Yang. That would force us into war with them. I want to take Guju. And I would then try and liberate Yin Yang and give it back to Zhao in exchange for vassalage. That would be more or less my plan, but I don't know if I can pull it off. They have so many stacks moving around, especially the horse archers can really be a pain in the butt. Anyway, let's hit the turn button. Look at that. It's also Jiangxi is also being attacked now, being burnt down a little. Hopefully they can resist. I don't want them to grow any weaker. Again, more countries want us to attack Vai. Pay someone off to fight the southern guys. Well, I like that idea, Ben. That's one of the reasons I want to be like an economic or trade powerhouse, is so I can start using money for diplomacy. Especially to get some vassals as buffer states inland. I would really like to have that. That's something I want to do. Join the Vai against everyone. Do nothing and slaughter Vai. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I would want to be fighting them. I don't see any particular reason. I'm more inclined, especially with this army moving south, to go and take these two cities. Oh well, let's first upgrade our trade at Lingzhou. So we're gonna build the ceramics factory, and that will take some time. So and some money, but it should be worth it. And our road network is being constructed. Also, the longer I wait to go to war with the faction of Qi, is the more money I make of them by trading. Unfortunately, also the more money they make of us by trading, because the city of Gaotang is also exporting to Handan. Our leader has died in G, but he died peacefully, I guess. He fought a total of 6 battles in his life, awarding him with 4 authority. And he's passed away from this world to join his ancestors. Now we have an heir, and he has succeeded him, and he's right over here. He's trying to push off the annoying Donghu, who are our friends, but we find annoying nonetheless. And then we want them away from us, from our ground. So let's see. More farms, obviously. Always be farming, especially Yin seems to be growing pretty well. I thought it was a fairly useless city when I founded it, but you know, it's making us some money right now. That's always good, I suppose. There are some encounter opportunities here, and I might be wondering if it would be worthwhile to actually go there and get some extras. Look at the map, guys. We found a lot of information on the map. By trading information mainly. That is quite nice. Many potential enemies, and for clarity's sake, we're playing the Warring States scenario here. So, I'm gonna hit end turn. And the city of Yingyang is still defending itself, the city of Jiangxi. And the city of Yingyang has fallen, guys. This might force us to act against the interest of the Donghu. So we're gonna wall off Yin for starters to protect it. Gonna invest some money into that. And city of Handan, we can start growing it now, which is really, really cool. It's going to be one of our more important cities. And perhaps we need to build some additional... Yes, we can upgrade our parts in Gu, foundry or weaponsmith. Let's get the weaponsmith going. That will allow us to recruit some cooler guys. It shouldn't take too long. We have to pay the upkeep, but that will allow us to recruit stronger troops. So it should be worthwhile. And our road network is almost complete. And that should also act as a modifier for trade. Can you attack his northern city and then ambush his main army en route? I like that, Master Ben. That is a good idea. Take the city here by storm with a smaller force, I suppose. It is not walled, so that we should be able to do that. Take the city, lure their army into our lands, having Lingzhou as bait, and have an army hiding here with the ambush orders, or perhaps here in the forest. I really like that idea. We could even split up our troops. I think that's gonna be our plan for next week, Master Ben. I think next week we're gonna try and put, because I don't have time today to finish up on this plan, because I have to get going in a couple of minutes. But I really like that idea. Nah, I would never remove you from my friend list. No worry about that. Alright, and we're just gonna hit enter then. I would need to think of the exact army composition and handle quickly at Gushu. So we might need to recruit some extra troops. We could even use some cavalry, some chariots that are quick. Try and get the surround, take the city, and get out. Well, we ambush the main army here. I like that. Alright, news of fire at Gushu. That's alright, I don't care. News of disease at Fushu. Also, I don't quite care. We are doing pretty well, and that's what I care about. So let's have a look at the statistics before we leave off. Victory point wise, we are doing better than everyone else, though we are closely followed by the cities of Qi and Donghu, who incidentally are the ones we're actually thinking of fighting, so that could be tricky. When we look at, hey Cyril, just got this game, great to hear. Please let us know what you think in the forums, that would be really cool. If you have any feedback, there's a huge list thread there with ideas and suggestions that you're welcome to post in, and let us know if you have any questions or comments. It can be a little bit of a complicated game, so it would be great if you could let us know, if you have any questions. There's a very helpful community out there. So let's get back here. Culturally, we're not doing that well, not focusing on cultural victory. We're actually leading also in part, but it's not what we're going for. Number of settlements. You see, these guys are strong. If we're going to make war with them, we have to be quick and decisive. And then we have... That must have been because you've been a very valuable tester, Katanak. We have the population right here. We're actually second in population. These guys are bigger, and they also have a bigger military. So it will be challenging, but it will be a very nice objective for next week. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys all. Thank you so much for joining us. Tyrell, Katanak, Master Ben, Smoking Warclaw, and all the others. It was great having you here. We're going to be back next week, and hopefully you will be joining us as well. If you like what you saw, please sure to follow our channel so you will get notified when we go online again. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day. Bye-bye.